talking about random shit. 27. Today I'm gonna be giving my thoughts on, I'm kind of late a little bit, but my thoughts on episode 4 of The Last of Us. When it started off with Joel and Ellie driving down, going to, get to Tommy. But they stop off to get some gas and shit. And in the process, while Joel is siphoning gas, Ellie pulls out a joke book, like in the game, and proceeds to do jokes, which had me smile a little bit because it reminded me of what they did in the game. And I remember, I'm gonna take this from semi-upset Joe, because it's not angry Joe, it's a semi-upset Joe, because you never see him angry, you only see him semi-upset or not. So semi-upset Joe was like, here's a point where he was saying, well, yeah, people saying they're going too fast, and I'm like, you're saying that because you're playing Last of Us, a video game, which means you take time getting resources, finding resources, and all this stuff, and sometimes you stand still and let dialogue play so you can, hear more from the characters before continuing. So of course you're gonna say that you're getting more, that is, more out of it than you were getting in the show, because they're not doing the filler. There's no filler in between it. There's no filler. There's no like little filler that is there. So you just there, you're there and you're getting all of the plot right there and then. Like there's no filler to it, like in the game where you go and look for resources and stuff. So it's like, I understand that you're saying that, but it's like, that the game has filler technically because of the gameplay itself, because you gotta look for resources and stuff. You can't just go straight to plot points. And to the people who the Ben Shapiro types, I remember watching Ben Shapiro. I watched a lot of people who talked about The Last of Us, and they have no like anything, no experience of the game, none of that, the pacing, none of that shit. So that's why I stopped watching them. I stopped caring about their opinions, because it's like, nigga, you literally, you didn't play the game, nor did you even try to even understand the source material or nothing like that. So it's like, fuck you. Like, your opinion means nothing to me. It's like your opinion weighs like 2 Skittles, So when it comes down to your opinions, it's like your opinions weigh like Skittles, so it doesn't really matter to me. But the expectation is that when I watched it, when I was watching the episode, I was enjoying the relationship between Ellie and Joel. I was liking how the chemistry was between the 2 characters. I love the chemistry, how they will get to know each other and stuff. And I've seen people say they're getting they're moving too fast with it, but it's like, you can't really not. You know what I'm saying? You're kind of forced into that, where you either take your time and you like make it feel like you're panning, like you're forcing it to keep going and going for no reason. Feel like you're not making no momentum because you're forcing it. You're like trying to do what the game does, and the game has things that gives you something to be like, because it's the game. You can actually ignore the fact that you're not really doing much, but other than looting, because it's like in the show you have no control over the characters, so you have nothing to do. You're not the one doing anything. It's the characters doing all the stuff. So while they're looking for resources, you're like, man, damn, I wish they get to, you're not trying to sit there for so long. I feel like you're panning it out. But I would love to have that episode, like 3 to 4 hour episode of them just slowly looking for resources, talking, all that, like in the game. I would love that. But some people don't want that shit. Some people think it's just fine how it is, and I think it's okay. I think it ain't bad. I think it's decently done. It ain't forced or nothing. You don't feel no force or nothing. I don't feel like nothing's forced. I feel like everything's, in character. They take liberties because guess what? It's It's literally a TV show, so they should take liberties. They shouldn't just go like, if they were to copy and paste the source material, you would hate it because it's copy and paste. You might as well play the game at that point. You might as well play the game. So what's the point of, you know, watching the show if you're gonna play the game and get the same amount, an even better telling of it. You get a better telling in it from the game than you can get in the show. So why do that? So I'm glad they're taking liberties and doing their own thing and trying new things in it because it makes it better. I can see why semi-upset Joe would say, oh, they're trying to make everyone human and stuff. I can see that, but it's like there's nothing, you know what I'm saying? To be fair, you have to have some human quality. Like, you can't make everyone a fucking non-human. Like, I think the only time they're gonna do it, like, you legit ain't gonna be able to humanize them is the fucking cannibals. David and his group. I guarantee they're not gonna humanize them at all. They're not gonna humanize them. They're literally gonna not do that. This group, I can see the hunters being humanized. You know, I actually like the fact that they're more human than they are in the fucking game, because it's like they're just assholes, and it's like, man, fuck it. At least have some group where it's like you're forced to have to make a tough decision after fight people. You know, it's not just assholes out there. It's also people. It's also people out there. So you can't just, well, everyone's an asshole in the apocalypse besides Ellie and Joel. So, you know, that don't make sense. You know that doesn't make sense at all. And you know that doesn't make any sense. So why do that? So why do it? So I feel like it's better if they kept it like that. I know they're not going to do it for David's group. I know they won't, because they won't be stupid. They're not stupid to do that. They wouldn't do that. They're not stupid. Oh shit. Ah, fuck. I didn't notice it. I didn't know there was a hole in the I didn't know there was a water down there. But yeah, I was like, to be honest, it's like it makes sense that they're going to do the human route for the hunters, because it's like, if you kept them how they are, you wouldn't like feeling it. You just like, these assholes need to die. These assholes need to go. Fuck the hunters, you know? They're pieces of shit. You get what I'm saying? And you'll never feel anything. You know? But I get it. I understand the whole they need to be assholes, but you know, it can't just be only assholes. You gotta make it feel like, because in reality, everyone's trying to survive. Everyone's trying to survive. Not everyone's an asshole when you meet them. That's why I had a problem with The Walking Dead, is that they kept doing this where everyone's assholes. For a while, that was what they were. They were just like, everyone's assholes. Anyone that's not part of the group are assholes. And I was like, man, this shit trash. I ain't interested. They did that a lot. That I can remember. They did that shit a lot. Where it's like, and the one time I was like getting excited was when the Commonwealth popped. I was like, oh, finally a fucking arc where they have to, you know, fuck people up, for innocent people who are just normal people, just surviving and living. You're gonna fuck them over, you know what I mean? Some risk reward type shit. Do we still treat Ellie? Do we still treat this group as if they're good people? You know, they're the good guys, even though they're hurting people. That, you know what I mean? Giving more, you know, giving more gravity to what they're doing, and make you think about, is Rick's group really good guys, or are they just people who were good guys and just start becoming assholes over time, just like the people they are fighting against? Usually they're fighting against, or they're becoming them, you know? Which made it more interesting. And then after they kind of say, oh, the Commonwealth's full of assholes, everything's bad, the Commonwealth is bad, and all that shit, I was like, man, fuck it. They can't, from my perspective, they can't make a story where both sides are at equal footing and possibly, you know, not bad. They can't write a story with equal footing. They can't do it. I feel like they can't do it. I feel like they can't do it. In my opinion, they can't do it. But that's why I didn't mind. That's why I didn't mind The Walking Last of Us for doing it, because it's like, it's better than what The Walking Dead did, where they just said, you know what, everyone's evil. Anyone that interacts with Joel and Ellie, they're evil. That's ass. I don't like that. I'm glad they're actually trying something different. They're trying something new. So, you know, with that specifically, because I know they're gonna make David's group evil. That's just gonna happen. David's group gonna be pieces of shit. That's just gonna happen. They're not gonna change on that. So I wouldn't be too shocked that David's group are assholes. So I don't expect that. I don't expect no change there. So I expect that. But to continue what I'm saying, and they get to a part where they're camping, and then Joel's like, Ellie's like, what is that smell? It stinks. It's like, it's coffee. It's like, it smell like she like, it's disgusting. It stinks. It's bad. And I kind of smiled and chuckled at it, you know. And then they got lost, where Joel and Ellie got lost. Eventually, they got lost because they had to go around. Because when they got to the highway, it was blocked off, so they had to go around. And he got lost. They got lost. Like, where the fuck are we going? Like, you know, this is my second time being in the car. Give me a break and stuff. And it's like, you know, the back and forth is great. I like that. I like the back and forth. But then the dude pops up and he's like, help me, I'm hurt. And then he's like, Joel, like, buckle up. He's just buckle up, put the seatbelt on, go flying. Like, oh shit. They dive out the way and they start attacking Joel and Ellie. And then Joel and Ellie were fighting them and killed two dudes. And then the last dude who was alive was begging for his life and shit because Ellie shot him in the back because Joel was gonna die. Which I actually like this scene a lot better because they did that scene a lot better because I didn't like when Joel was saved by Ellie and he was shitting on Ellie. I didn't like that shit. I fucking hated that shit. I was like, man, she saved your goddamn life and you're acting like an asshole to her for no reason. For no earthly reason. Why are you treating her like that? Why are you treating her like that when she helped you? I didn't really like that. I didn't really care for that scene. That shit pissed me off when I saw that in the game. When I saw that in the game, that shit pissed me off because I was like, she saved your life, asshole. And she took a life. She actually had to take a life. A child had to take a life, asshole. It ain't something that simple, you know. But that showed that Joel was just distant. He didn't care. But this time, Joel was like legit showing care and compassion because of Bill's influence. Because of Bill's influence in that letter. Because at first he was treating her like cargo, but then Bill's influence kind of changed that. And so he's trying to talk to her and like try to, you know, empathize with her and talk to her, but he can't get the words out because he's not good at talking. And she's like, I know you're bad at it. Like you're bad at that. And it's like, I know it's your first time. Like, no, that's actually my second time doing this. And it's like, oh, and you know learn. But people already knew that. People already knew it was her second time because, you know, the game, you know. So you had to deal with that.
The arc reactor's nearby.
But
Jarvis, are you picking up anything?
They went out. Joel kills the dude. The dude was begging for life. He kills him instead of Ellie, so that she doesn't have to deal. So she can like, I killed him, not you. I killed him, so you don't have to have that on your conscience. You know, he did that for her, type shit. And then they were hiding out. They were running and hiding because their people were hunting them. Their people looking for Henry. The people in this QZ is looking for Henry and Sam, which I forgot to mention. Henry and Sam is in this. They're not in the episode. Well, I'm not gonna spoil none. Well, actually, it's my thoughts. So yes, spoilers. But like, when Henry and Sam when they get to, we switch off to. I'm skipping some stuff, but we get to a point where we meet. We talk to the girl talks to one of the commanders, and when she talked to one of those commanders, he says, "Yeah, you need to see this. It's important." And she's like, hey, "Can you wait? Cause I got things to do. I got shit to do. So it better be important." And she's like, "It is." They find this crater in the ground and it moves. And I'm like, is that supposed to be the bloater? Are they gonna introduce the bloater scene? Because I feel like that's what the bloater, that's a bloater scene. Like that's showing the bloater. They're gonna show the bloater. So I'm like, oh shit, they're gonna show the bloater? That's crazy. They're gonna do this. I can't wait to see this bloater and what he's gonna look like, you know what I mean? So it makes it interesting. It's a whole lot interesting. It's so interesting. It gets interesting to me. Where it's like, I'm really interested in what the bloater is gonna look like. I haven't seen no teasers, no nothing. I ain't seen none of that because I wanted to go in blind. I wanted to go in blind for it, so I'm interested in what the blur is gonna look like. I like how the clicker looked. The clicker looked really good, and I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that the clicker looked good and looked dangerous as hell. You know. But back to the actual episode. So we flash over to talk to her. I skipped the part where she talks to this old man that was protecting Henry and Sam. I think that's part of the Henry and Sam's group. The ones that are part of his group that defected was with the group, you know what I mean? So I think he was part of his group, and he was like, I'm not gonna tell you anything, and you know, you need me because I'm a doctor. And it's like, can the doctor save this person? No, we'll kill him. And she blows his brains out, and she becomes the leader. And I think because that dude died, she took command. So it's like, oh, obviously she's the leader. And it's like, bro, she don't even know what the fuck she's doing, bro. And I had gripes with her because it's like, dude, you gonna sit here and the dude tells you there's a fucking possibility this damn bloater is gonna be a real issue for your people. You don't tell nobody this shit. You just, well, I'm not gonna tell nobody about a fucking bloater underneath us, you know, where people live. But you know, I thought that was stupid, but not like immersion breaking. Because then I thought I like kind of retroactively made it make sense by saying, oh, if she told them, then people would like panic and shit, and she needs them to be confident and focused on getting Henry and Sam. And then I said to myself, that is a fair point. That is fair. You do need your people focused, but you also need to have your trust. And if you don't have trust in with your leadership, then what do you have? You don't have none because you don't trust leadership. If you don't trust your own leader to make decisions for your well-being, then at that point you become, you know, it becomes bad for you, you know. And then people defect and they kind of leave, and that's a problem. You don't want them to leave and defect. You want them to stay. You want them to trust your leadership skills, you know. So it makes sense. That part, the two sides of it I made up for myself for it, but it makes sense for me at least, because I was thinking about like, oh, you gotta be stupid to do that. And I was like, if she fucking does that shit, then people would probably defect knowing that shit's underneath them. They live underneath that. So I wouldn't want to be in this fucking area knowing that bitch is underneath me. At one point he could fucking break out and then attack us. Fuck that. Fuck that. I'm not doing that, you know. I'm leaving, right? You know. And it makes sense that you would do that. It makes sense. But there was a moment where they were in this abandoned store. I know I'm rambling and kind of not being coherent, but it's kind of hard for me to do this and play, you know. I gotta get used to it again. So where it's like they get to this abandoned restaurant, I think. Yeah, it's an abandoned restaurant, and they're sitting there trying to figure out when we're gonna go. It's like when we hear them trucks stop moving and them trucks are gone, that's when we'll start moving. We'll leave when that happens. And then it happens. They leave. They go to the hotel. So Joe and Ellie are in the hotel. They go all the way up. She's like, "Yo, we going all the way up to the top?" No, we're not going all the way to the top. You're crazy as hell. We're not boxing ourselves in. You're stupid. But I'm gonna go as far as I can go. And then they go up to the 36th floor, I think. And they're like, okay, let me put some glass down and break it and put it on the ground so no one can sneak up on us. It's like, why are you doing that? Because he doesn't want no one sneaking up on them while they're sleeping. So he put the trap there to make sure they wake up. And it's like, she was like, how you gonna know? How you gonna hear it? Like asking, how you gonna hear it? It's like, I will hear it. It's like, and she says, you know, you can't hear on your right side. Like you hardly can hear on your right side. And it's like, that's from shooting. Nah, it's from me shooting guns and shit. And I was like, okay, makes sense. Joel has hard of hearing because of the shooting and stuff. It's messing with his ears, so he has to sleep on his left side. He has to, be on his left so he can hear the door. So he's sleeping with his back to Ellie, and Ellie's staring at his back, and she does a joke. I can't remember the joke on him, but she made a joke and he started giggling. They started laughing. And I was like, that was a great. I love that they started. I love this. I love that they're bonding and stuff. And I'm like, when will? I'm thinking the moment when they're going to. He's gonna fucking, do what he did in the game is when Henry and Sam die. I honestly think that's when Henry and Sam die, that's when he's gonna do it. Because I feel like that's what's gonna happen. A tragedy is gonna push him back in his old ways. I have a feeling the death of Henry and Sam is gonna push him back in his old ways. I have the feeling that's what they're planning for, which is smart. Because at first she's like, oh, Joel, like how they gonna do Joel fucking up and damn near giving up Ellie and saying, you know what, I don't want to, be in that relationship with Ellie and care for Ellie, I don't want to do that stuff. How you gonna do it? How you gonna get Joel to be an ass like that? How you gonna get him to do that? You can't, because he's like literally connecting with her. He's laughing, giggling, smiling, and I have a feeling it's gonna be Henry and Sam that's gonna cause him to go back to his ways. That's what I think it's gonna be. So that's what's gonna happen. I feel like that's what's gonna happen. He's gonna go back in his old ways because of Henry and Sam's death. Henry and Sam's death is gonna cause him to go back in his old ways. So I think that's what's gonna happen. When they're sleeping, at the very end, again, I was just like Upset Joe. I was like semi-upset Joe. I was like, I wish it was like a 3-hour episode that we can flush out. We can flush out the leader of the community. We can flush her character out. We can flush out, the reasons why they want to get Henry and Sam a little bit instead of being in the dark. You know what I mean? And I think that would have been cool. But they didn't want to do a 3-hour episode, which is okay. I don't like, that's me personally. I'm just like semi-upset Joe. I also want a 3-hour episode because I enjoyed it. I really did. And personally, I'll give that episode about a 9. A 9, which is an A. You know what I mean? I'll give it an A, and if you want to do number, 9. But yeah, 9. I didn't mind her character. I didn't mind because semi-upset Joe had a problem with her character, with the new leader, the woman leader character, and I didn't really have that issue. I was like, yeah, she's stupid a little bit, but she ain't like unreasonably, like incompetence. There's no incompetence with her. Like, she's smart. She's like, search these buildings. She ain't incompetent. So it don't feel like she's stupid to say, why the fuck she a leader, It don't feel like that. So it's I don't have that upset feeling about it. So that's why I give it a 9, because it's like that part didn't because that part didn't faze me. Everything else was working fine. The whole Ellie and Joel segments of them, getting along and all that stuff was great. Her reading out of the joke book, him literally laughing at the joke and they fall asleep laughing. That was a good episode. That was a great episode. I love that. And then at the very end, you meet Henry and Sam, and Henry got a gun to Ellie's head, and Sam got a gun to Joel's face, and he's like, shh, be quiet, And I was like, oh shit. I wonder what they're gonna do for the next episode. What's it gonna be like? I'm actually excited for this show. It's not like it's a bad show. I thought the show, when I heard the show was coming out, I was like, man, this show about to be fucking ass, bro. Why do this, bro? We have the video game, and I'm like, I end up actually I'm actually enjoying the show. I'm actually enjoying it. I do have my gripes with the episode 3, because I realized, I rethought about it, because it's not because of Ben Papiro and shit. It was literally because I thought about it in terms of they could have did that whole arc with Henry with Bill in less time, and we could have got more Ellie and Joe out of it if they were to do it. Because they did it with Kyrie in DMC5. You don't get to see Kyrie. You don't see her face. You don't see nothing. But you get to hear her voice and hear her talk to Nero. That's what you get to hear. And because of that, you get to hear a moment between them and how he has doubts in himself, and Kyrie is trying to you know, get him to be like, you shouldn't doubt yourself. Ever since I knew you would do the right thing. So don't doubt yourself, Nero. And that did more for her character than a whole video game about her being kidnapped and being, you know, a story about her existence. You know, you get what I'm saying? That did more for her character, and I feel like that's what they could have did with Henry. They could have did with Bill and Frank. I feel like that's what they could have did with Bill and Frank instead of a 50-minute episode about Bill and Frank, and then also leading into, you know, talking about how Joel needs to protect Ellie because of what Bill says. You know, we could have got less of that, like the less of that episode and more of the, you know, of the Joel being, you know, being that survivalist, not caring for others and shit, and then eventually going out and going to Bill's town and seeing Bill, and it's like, oh shit, okay, he's right. I need to protect. You know, that's what we're here for, is to protect the ones we care about. And he start caring for Ellie because of it. You know, you start seeing him change. 'Cause at first he was just treating her like she was cargo. We could have got more scenes of him showing that he's treating her like cargo, and then Bill's influence from the little bit of scenes you see from Bill and from Frank. You know, you see a little bit of Bill being basically Joel, and then you transition to him meeting Frank, talking to Frank, getting, you know, and then you go back to Joel and how he's treating Ellie, and you see the contrast. And then when we finally get to Bill's town, we find that they committed suicide together, and that he didn't want to live in the world without Frank, because he loved Frank. He was like, man, if Frank ain't in the world, I don't give a fuck about it. So protect your loved ones. That's what we're here for, Joel. We're here to protect the ones we care about. And that's when he starts shifting, and then it moves to episode 4. That's why I wish they did. I didn't really care about it being subtle or not. I just wanted it to be more like, you know, a flow, a little bit of different flow. I had my mind on a different flow than they had, but it's okay. I didn't hate the episode because it didn't do what I wanted to do. But so for me, it was fine. But that part had me when I rethought about it, because I was like, the Kyrie. They could have did a Kyrie with Frank and Bill. They could have did a Kyrie. They could have literally did a Kyrie, but they didn't. And I was like, man, fuck. That actually could have made the episode even, because it was a B. For me, it was a B. But when I thought about it more, I was giving a B+, because the meaning behind Bill and Joel and the whole, you know, showing that these characters are the same, you know, that they're going through the same shit, and that Bill is kind of shifting Joel a little bit. He's changing him a little bit. That his influence changed Bill. You know, Bill's influence changed Joel, and I like that. So I like that part, but I didn't really fuck with the fact that when I was watching other people's, you know, reviews and shit, they complain about the plot not going forward, and then I'm sitting there thinking to myself, so you want, because I remember someone commented about the Game of Thrones, about how Game of Thrones is literally what they're talking about, forcing plot, just force plot, and no one gave a fuck. People hated it because there was no building, there was no sense into it, there was nothing. It was just going to plot point, and no world building, no nothing. It had nothing. And I was like, yeah, that's why you need that. You need world building. You need moving the plot forward. You need all this stuff. You can't just go plot, or you be some Dragon Ball Z stuff. But Dragon Ball Z had already had the emotional connection with me, because I loved the characters. I already loved the characters, so I didn't have to worry about it. So they can go straight to plot point, and I wouldn't care, because I was a super fan. I'm a super fan of Dragon Ball Z, so they can do that, you know. But like other media, I can't do that. I gotta get immersed with the characters and stuff before you just start slamming plot points. Because if you do that, then it's just like fuck. You get what I'm saying? Fuck that shit. So I enjoy the episode. I enjoyed episode 4. Episode 3. I enjoy They could have did a Kyrie. They could have done a Kyrie, which is what I feel like they should have did, was do a Kyrie where,
We know that.
you know.
Something that won't shoot everyone in the face this
So
Like a pool.
it's
Every evil
For me, it's-
corporation needs a rec center, right?
for me it's just like between that and them 2 episodes, I like the pacing in the 4th episode more than I like the pacing in the 3rd episode, because it felt a little bit slower. The pacing was like a snail's pace, but not like, I didn't hate the characters. So with like The Last of Us 2, they had the same thing, slow moving plot. The plot just going at a snail's pace. And if you don't like the characters in that, if you don't like those characters, then you really won't like the slow plot points. You won't like the slow plot, you know, the progression. You won't like the slow plot progression. If you don't like how slow it is, then you won't like the slow plot progression, you know? I would love to have like the ability to do not just this game. This is the closest game I could do a Hulk game for y'all, like pseudo Hulk type stuff, because this is the closest I can do, because there's no remaster for Hulk Ultimate Destruction or nothing, so I can't really do that, and I don't got the necessary equipment to do those videos, to do, you know, direct capture on a PS2 and be it so you can see me play that game, you know. I don't have that yet, but I eventually will start doing that soon. But for the time being, I don't have that equipment, and I would love to have that equipment. But
It's a compliment.
that's why when I see people complain about their YouTube career, I'm like, yo, do you understand how fucking blessed you is, bro? And I don't usually use that word, blessed. Y'all niggas are blessed, bro. I want what you got, so I can do these videos. I would love to have that. Nice microphone, nice setup, soundproofing, so I ain't gotta, you know, all that in the 9 yards, but I ain't got none of that. So I'm gonna end it here with my review on The Last of Us, and not my review, but thoughts on it, because this ain't a review. So sorry I haven't made an actual one of. Well, I actually did make one of these for like when it was Elden Ring, but it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like I've been doing other shit for myself, you know, mental, fixing my head, getting my head straight, because I was in dark shit myself. Dark stuff. I got problems with myself and self-image and stuff. I get issues with self-image and stuff, or like, you know, self-care and the thoughts of what's the point of living and shit. I have suicidal thoughts, but I've been maintaining them. I've been trying. I've been making sure I just laugh every day. I try to watch funny videos, no depressing stuff, no depressing music, no depressing anything. Just me watching funny videos, making sure I'm not depressed, you know, making sure the depression stuff don't, you know. I don't know what's happening, I'm sorry, but I'll end it here. So for the video, I'll end it here. Thanks for watching and appreciating, you know, I appreciate people who watch. I don't care if it's like 2 people who watch the video. I appreciate your existence. I love you, and you should love yourself too. Love yourself, love your loved ones, love your mom, love your dad. Your mom will piss you off, I know. If you're with your parents, you hang out with your parents will piss you off, I know. But they love you and they will always win. They always got your back. They always got your back. They always got your back. Or at least the good parents do. Sorry for the people who have shitty parents, but I hope you got grandmas and granddads who are like parents, who are parents basically, who love you, and they should, you know, those are your parents. If your own real, you know, biological parents don't love you, fuck them. If your fucking grandmas and granddads, fuck them. I'd rather call them my mom and dad, because guess what? They treat me like they treat me like I'm their son, or their, you know, depending on who you are, your preference or whatever, you know. You know what I'm saying? So I fucks with it. I say hug your mom. If your mom's a piece of shit, don't go hugging your mom. Hug your dad. If your dad's trash, go hug your grandma. Your grandma needs some love, you know. Granddad, grandma, you know. Go visit them, you know. Hang out with them. Have a day just sitting down talking to them, you know. You know what I'm saying? Enjoy living, bro. Enjoy living. while I'm kind of trying to figure it out myself too, you know. So I just take it one step at a time. That's all I can say. Take it one step at a time. Be careful and take a step at a time. Don't put all that shit on yourself. Just one thing at a time, like a list. One thing at a time. Don't go by your list. One day at a time. Do one thing at a time. Don't put it all on yourself, or else you'll go crazy. So, you know, love y'all. See you in the next video.